All right. So, welcome everyone. Today is our fourth and final webinar in that four-part series that we've been doing on teletherapy. Today, are going to be talking about some different resources and show some actual videos of platforms and some mock therapy sessions. So that's really exciting. We're really excited about this webinar today. Again, like our other webinars, we will have the main instructional portion of the workshop, and then we'll follow up with some time for question and answers. You will also be given instructions toward the end of this workshop to complete the webinar survey and the post-workshop exam so that you will be eligible for your certificate of attendance. If you were not able to download the participant worksheet earlier, I'm going to add a link here in just one moment to the chat, and then that will allow you to follow along as we go through our information today. To get the most out of this workshop, we do encourage you to use the participation pages to take notes and complete the activities that we have planned for us to do together. And then just be active in the discussions and the group chat. We'll have a few polls again that we will put up for you to participate in, and we really love everyone to join in on those. I know when I attend CEU classes, I always like to just be able to talk to my colleagues. It's not very often that we get to talk to other people, especially as we saw we have people all over the country and all over the world with us today. So it's nice just to be able to get that interaction. Just a few things before we get started. Feel free to use the chat box to ask any questions as well. So we'll ask for some participation, but if you have questions, please put those in there or put them in the Q&A box, and we'll take some time, some breaks during the webinar today to answer those questions at topic breaks. If you need to turn on closed captioning, that is available for you. There's a little CC button at the bottom of your Zoom screen that will enable that function for you. And just a reminder that this training is recorded. So for those of you who are not part of our eLuma clinician community, we're really happy to have you here. eLuma was founded in 2011 by our current CEO, Jeremy Glauser. At eLuma, we are on a mission to provide better support for schools so that you can create more success stories with students. eLuma connects students and educators with clinicians who care, and we also provide software solutions to support mental health, speech therapy, OT, PT, and school psychology. And for those of you who haven't been with us, I'm Cami. I'm an occupational therapist. I've been in OT for 25 years. I've spent most of my time in schools, or over half that time in schools. And I've also worked in various other settings as well, but I've been doing teletherapy since 2015. And I was with eLuma as a teletherapist prior to coming to the clinical services team as well.
Hi, everyone. I'm Pola Morrison. I'm a school psychologist, and like Tammy, I've been in the field for about 25 years, most of that time being in a brick and mortar school. I was a contractor with eLuma, so I've also been a virtual remote school psychologist. My background is in early childhood education, but I've also worked with adults with disabilities in the university level. Currently, I am the mental health specialist in the clinical services department here at eLuma.
Welcome, everyone. Thanks again for being with us today. I'm Sarah Plunkett. I've been a speech-language pathologist for 15 years. Like Cami and Pola, have experience in a variety of settings, just about everywhere you can work as a speech-language pathologist, including medical and school settings. Most recently, contracted with eLuma with teletherapy, so have experience doing that for a couple years before transitioning over to my role currently as a clinical services specialist.
Okay, so now it's time to get to know you. Here, we got a poll here for you. What is your discipline? Let's see where everybody's coming from. Okay, a lot of speech, a few psychs, welcome. OT and PT, wonderful. Okay. A few more people. Okay, it looks like we have a lot of speech paths with us. Welcome OTPT and school psychs. Okay, and what type of school are you working with? Public, charter, private, or maybe you're not working with a school right now. Okay, lots of public school, some not with the schools. Welcome. I hope this is helpful information to you. Okay, almost 50-50. More responses. Okay, looks like everybody's answered. All right, half and half. Welcome.
And now we want to know what grades you work with. So a couple more polls here to participate in. Usually have a pretty good mix with this one. All right. All grades. We've got a lot of pre-K through 8 here, some 9 through 12. Welcome, everybody. Awesome. A good mix today, too. And lastly, how would you rate your knowledge of teletherapy? Good deal. We've got a good mix here as well. Wonderful. Thanks for sharing, everyone.
Okay. You can receive a certificate of attendance for today's webinar. In order to receive it, you must attend this course in its entirety and complete the post-webinar survey, evaluation, and test. This course is also eligible for 1 NASP, Continuing Professional Development Credit, or 0.1 ASHA CEU upon passing the post-course evaluation. You must meet the requirements within 24 hours of the course ending.
eLuma is an ASHA-approved CE provider and also a NASP CE-approved provider for our speech-language pathologists. If you would like for us to report your completion of this course, you will be asked to complete an ASHA CE reporting section on the post-workshop evaluation and test. We will remind you about this at the end of the webinar, though. If you're eligible to receive NASP CEUs, you will not need to complete any further information. You'll automatically receive that certificate of attendance when you meet the course completion requirements. And all other disciplines who meet the course completion requirements will also receive a certificate of attendance.
Then by the end of this presentation today, you will be able to describe and understand the benefits of more common public teletherapy platforms. You will be able to identify at least 5 digital materials, websites, or telehealth compatible teletherapy materials that are effective for speech and language therapy, occupational therapy, physical therapy, and mental health services that you can use in future telehealth sessions. And you will also review discipline-specific case samples and determine the most appropriate materials and platforms to use in your own setting. So welcome to this 4th webinar, Real-World Application of Teletherapy. We are going to do a little bit of a deeper dive today into teletherapy and what that looks like. If you've missed our first 3 webinars, they are online at eluma.com. You can find them there under the resources tab. All presenters are affiliated with eLuma Online Therapy Services, a provider of school-based teletherapy services. Presenters do not endorse or receive any compensation from any products or services included in the presentation. Well, I'm not hearing you. I think you're on mute.
Thank
Sorry.
you. Yeah, I was. And let's go ahead and get started. So in our previous webinars, we did talk about security and privacy. And today we want to talk about how it relates to the platform you choose for therapy. Let's start with the importance of keeping information safe. And this means safeguarding student data and the content of the therapy sessions, and that includes any recordings. To achieve this, it's crucial to use strong encryption and security measures to protect all the data transmitted and stored during the online therapy sessions. So controlling access is a vital component of secure teletherapy. We need to decide who can join and watch the therapy sessions, and we only want authorized personnel to access sensitive student records, enhancing the protection of confidential information. When you're selecting an online therapy system, it's essential to choose one with a robust security features. And that means meeting the FERPA and COPPA compliance requirements. And that's ensuring that those sessions are conducted in the strict accordance of student privacy rights. You also want secure internet connections. We encourage that therapists and students use a secure Wi-Fi network. This ensures that the data during the sessions remains confidential and is protected from unauthorized access. Two-factor authentication is also known as two-step verification, and that provides an extra layer of security for online accounts and systems. By requiring this for therapists and staff, this boosts the login security, further safeguarding against unauthorized access. For education awareness, we want therapists and staff to be aware of how important data security is. We need to create awareness about the best practice and the potential for security issues. This equips them to make informed decisions and take the right actions in safeguarding sensitive information. Complacency with internet information security can lead to careless exposure of confidential information. And then lastly, having an emergency response plan. Having a comprehensive plan is essential for handling security incidents. A plan that outlines the steps to follow in case of data breaches or privacy incidents, enabling educational institutions to respond effectively and swiftly. By incorporating all of these features into the selection of your platform, clinicians can ensure the secure and confidential delivery of therapy sessions to their students. And then this upholds the highest standards of data protection and privacy, ensuring that students' information and privacy are always protected.
We did discuss, as Pola mentioned, FERPA and COPPA compliance earlier in our legal and ethical considerations webinar. These are the federal acts that protect children and families and are important to consider when selecting a platform to use. These are also the specific acts that we reference when we say that the platform you choose should have the appropriate security and privacy measures. Any platform that you use needs to provide end-to-end encryption to prevent data breaches and other security concerns, such as people inappropriately entering therapy sessions. Links to compliance documents for the 3 platforms that we will be discussing today are in your participation worksheet.
Okay, so here's our first test your knowledge. The therapy platform that you choose should provide proper security measures to be FERPA and COPPA compliant. True or false? Excellent work, everyone. That is true.
So Sarah said we're going to be talking about 3 platforms today. And today we have chosen 3 of some of the most popular virtual conferencing platforms. We know there are a lot of different ones out there, and many companies may have their own platforms as well. But if you're looking at securing a platform for yourself, then these are probably 3 of those top systems that you would have access to create an account for yourself. So the first one we're going to talk about is Zoom. There are a lot of great features of Zoom, and if you talk to any teletherapist who's had an opportunity to use different platforms, they may say that Zoom is their favorite virtual meeting platform available on the market today. Zoom is easily integrated into your current workflow, so you can share your internet windows, apps, or your desktop very easily. It's quick and easy to set up, and you can also access it from an iPad, smartphone, and many different computers. One of the drawbacks of Zoom, though, is that it doesn't play as nicely with Chromebooks. And Zoom will run on a Chromebook, but it requires an additional web app called the Zoom PWA for Chrome OS. And with this web app, the clinician using a Chromebook can access the security icon in the meeting controls to lock a meeting. You can enable the waiting room, and you can also remove participants. It does allow you to share audio and screen shares. However, there are still some limitations on the student's end with that. You can use a whiteboard when sharing your screen. Right now it's called Jamboard. There's also some additional features coming to this web app later this year or next year. So be on the lookout for those as far as using a whiteboard. Students who are on a Chromebook can raise their hand. They can use that nonverbal feedback like thumbs up and thumbs down. They can join breakout rooms, but they still won't have that annotation option on shared screens. So that's the drawback with Zoom and Chrome OS, but there are a lot of other great features in Zoom as well. There's a bunch listed on the screen, but a few that we really like are, again, that ability to screen share and give remote control to pretty much any user on a PC or a Mac during your sessions. That annotate feature allows you to do real-time markup either on shared content. There's stamps that you can use. They can take control of your screen. They can write on your screen, and so that's really nice. As you've seen today, we are doing some polls. Zoom also has some embedded games, and these are new, and they seem to be adding new ones all the time. So you can see that if you have the Zoom app downloaded to your computer, which is the recommended way to perform therapy sessions with Zoom. Under those apps, there are a lot of free apps, also some paid ones that incorporate games, reactions, some other fun things right within the Zoom platform itself. And then, of course, closed caption is great if you have older students who need to use that. And there's also some brand new AI features in Zoom that honestly, we are just getting to learn to use as well. We've tried it out a few times, but it's actually a feature that allows you to get a session summary. If you turn it on during a session, Zoom will actually listen in and take notes and send that to you. You can have it sent to just yourself or to all participants. So that's a really cool feature and something that I think we just got access to last week. It is something that has to be turned on in your system. But it's exciting and something that we're going to be exploring and working with so that we can let our clinician community know how to use that as well. But as you can see, there's lots of really great features within Zoom. And Sarah has a little video for us that we're going to play here. And this will kind of just give us that overview of Zoom and what that looks like. Hang on one second. I want to make sure I had sound on. There we go.
You can see there are a lot of options here. When you log into Zoom, you can share your screen. There are whiteboard options. If you choose that, you're able to have a text box here. You can get your students to type. They could also draw with the different tools here. There's some fun stamps that they could use in therapy. There's a lot of tools there where they can create a picture or, different activities there. You can also share your screen for activities that you pull up, and like we've talked about or we'll talk about today. You can share here. When you are sharing, with another participant, you'll see beside the More button, there's a remote control button. So you would be able to give your student remote control. You can also take that back quickly if needed, but you're able to pull up games, activities, YouTube videos, different things like that that you wanted to share there with your students. You can also see different reactions here. There's apps. You can see who is with you here. There's a chat feature. So lots of great stuff that you're able to do on Zoom.
And so we have our next test your knowledge question here. Why is the screen share feature in Zoom valuable for teletherapy in schools? Which answer best answers that question? Great, yes. And the correct answer there is that it enables the display of educational materials and interactive therapy sessions.
So now we're going to look at Google Meet here. Google Meet seamlessly integrates with other Google Workspace apps like Google Calendar and Google Drive. This is really nice. So many schools and other companies use Google Workspace primarily. So this really does provide some integration, scheduling sessions, storing student information, and sharing documents really becomes effortless. It's a good way to streamline workflow in a lot of instances. Google Meet is also easily accessible on different devices from laptops to phones. Students or parents can join sessions from their own comfort zones, eliminating some travel barriers and enhancing accessibility. Google Meet does prioritize security with end-to-end encryption, like we've mentioned today already. Hosts do have control over who enters sessions, so this makes sure that they are private and secure. Google Meet delivers high quality video and audio, which is crucial for clear communication in therapy sessions, especially for those speech language sessions. Speech patterns, facial expressions are clearly observed here, which is important. Screen sharing in Google Meet simplifies sharing the therapy materials, resources, and other activities. So this really facilitates interactive therapy sessions. Increasing engagement and understanding for the students, which is so important. It does allow you to record sessions for documentation and review. This can help both therapists and students, if they need to revisit discussion, the therapists track progress and reinforce learning there for our students. Google Meet does offer collaboration tools like Google Jamboard. Therapists can create interactive exercises and engage their students in real time. Just an FYI, Jamboard is sunsetting in 2024, so just be aware of this upcoming change to the Google Workspace. And now this is a video tour of Google Meet, so you can just kind of see what this might look like within Google Meet.
Now we'll look at a quick tour here of Google Meet. As you can see, there are some similar features with Google Meet and Zoom. You can screen share. This is the arrow here for present. So this, if you click on this, you're able to share a variety of sources as you would within Zoom. This is just an example here of a boom card game for articulation here for speech. If you click on the three dots, you can see other options that you have available within Google Meet. There is the raise hand feature here. If you click on that, you can see that you're able to see if your student has a question or needs, assistance with something during a session. These are reactions here. If you click on that emoji, you can have different reactions pop up on the screen as you see there as well. This is information on turning on captions. And then here's your camera to turn off or on your camera and also turn off and on your microphone. In general, Google Meet has limited capability compared to Zoom as far as sharing and apps and things of that nature. But as you can see here, definitely some neat capabilities with sharing activities and different things with students.
So now we've got another test your knowledge here. Which benefit of Google Meet for teletherapy is especially significant for speech and language therapy, ensuring that students' speech patterns and expressions are clearly observed? Got a few choices there.
I think the question is wrong there, but the answers are right. So
Yes, you guys have got it. That high quality video and audio. Really important for speech patterns and expressions there. Awesome.
All right, so now let's take a look at Microsoft Teams. It's probably the least used of the platforms we're covering today, but if your campus is a Microsoft campus or if your company is a Microsoft company, you may be familiar with this platform. Some districts specifically use this because they are expanding and providing the Microsoft 365 apps. There is seamless integration between Teams and the 365 apps like Outlook and Word and PowerPoint. Scheduling sessions and sharing documents and collaborating on OneNote is very effortless. It's also accessible on various devices from desktops to smartphones, and students can join sessions from their preferred devices, increasing accessibility. Security is a top feature with Teams, offering a multi-layered security feature, including data encryption and compliance support, which protect your privacy and the student's sensitive information. It also ensures a high quality of video and audio, which is critical, as we just heard with Google Meets. Clear communication is very important, so that includes the verbal and the nonverbal cues. Screen sharing facilitates the sharing of therapy materials, resources, and exercises in real time. The interactive therapy sessions are enhanced, so that improves your student engagement and understanding. It does allow you to record sessions for documentation and review, and these recordings can help therapists revisit any discussions, track progress, or reinforce learning. And Microsoft Teams offers a suite of collaborative tools, like we mentioned before, with OneNote and Whiteboard. You can create your own interactive exercises and engage in real time. Microsoft Teams is also cost-effective if you have a plan for business or educational institutions, and it eliminates the need for a physical office space or travel expenses. As we stated before, it simplifies your appointment scheduling and your management, and it integrates well with third-party apps and services. So let's take a quick video tour of Microsoft Teams.
Interface, you can see that there are options for chat, and to see the people or participants, you do have a few reactions where you can raise your hand, and then you can also choose any of these fun little reactions there that appear on your screen. When you go to share, you have the option to share different screens, windows, or a Microsoft whiteboard. This is what the whiteboard looks like. It's just a blank screen here where you can choose different setups if you want, but if you just want the blank screen, you can do this. This allows you to write on the screen. You can also choose any kind of little stamps on the screen. You can also do different comments or even sticky notes. So if I want to add a sticky note there to type in, you can. That just makes things a little more fun. And you can stop sharing that. Now, if I wanted to share a specific window, then I would go back here and I would choose window. This is always the best idea because it's nice to have one specific window with all of the content that you want to share on just that window and those tabs only, and that way you don't accidentally share any confidential information. or anything. Now you do have a few control options that are showing up on my other screen, but I can bring back the video if I want to have this here, and then I would just give controls to the student and let them move any of these shapes or participate in this activity. One thing with Microsoft Teams that we've mentioned is that it is very organization specific. So some organizations may have a lot of these features locked down. In my opinion, it would be hard to use this as an individual provider if you weren't at a school that was specifically using Teams school-wide or district-wide, because of some of those features where you may not be able to allow guests to come in depending on the settings.
So the choice between Zoom, Google Meet, and Microsoft Teams for teletherapy should be based on your specific requirements and the features that align most closely with your goals and your workflow. So think about the unique needs of your teletherapy practice and try out the different platforms to determine which one best suits your needs. Zoom offers a feature-rich platform for teletherapy with a diverse range of tools, which include screen sharing with annotation, breakout rooms, and virtual backgrounds, enhancing interactivity in your therapy sessions. Its interactive tools such as polls and reactions like raising your hand make it ideal for educational settings where you need a lot of engagement. Zoom provides valuable recording and transcription capabilities, enabling the documentation and future reference of sessions, and it gives the therapist more control over their participants' actions. So security is a priority with options like the waiting rooms, password protection, and host controls. And each of the platforms has its advantages, but Zoom tends to have more interactive features that therapists and clinicians like to use. Google Meet offers a streamlined teletherapy solution with several key advantages. It works well with other Google Workspace apps, and it is convenient for an organization that's already utilizing Google services. It's known for being very user-friendly and reliable. It's straightforward to use and doesn't require additional downloads or installations, making it accessible for users of all backgrounds. It's very cost-effective because it's bundled with Google Workspace plans, and that translates to a significant savings for organizations who are using Google services. Microsoft Teams is a versatile platform that offers seamless integration with Microsoft 365, making it convenient for easy document sharing and collaboration within the same ecosystem. It has great security and compliance features, which are vital for maintaining the privacy of student data, and it adheres to regulatory requirements. Additionally, Teams provides a range of collaboration tools such as OneNote and Whiteboard, making it ideal for interactive and collaborative therapy sessions. For educational institutions, Microsoft offers specialized plans like Microsoft 365 for education. Okay, here's our test your knowledge. Which video conferencing platform is known for the wide range of features, including screen sharing with annotation, breakout rooms, interactive tools like polls and reactions, making it suitable for engaging teletherapy sessions in an educational setting? Okay, so far so good. See if everybody's still responding. Okay, looks like Zoom is the correct answer.
And while they do all have great features, Zoom does currently have quite a few interactive features there. So let's start talking about the fun stuff and the therapy materials. Some things to think about when you are looking for therapy materials. You do want to check for those educational standards to ensure that the teletherapy materials that you're using align with relevant educational standards and therapy objectives. They should support the curriculum and learning goals of the students. And of course, we want materials to be suitable for the age and developmental level of the students that are receiving therapy. So you want to consider their grade level, their individual needs, and the abilities of the students. We also want to keep in mind, cultural sensitivity and being mindful of the culture of diversity and choosing materials that are inclusive and respectful of different therapy students and their backgrounds and perspectives. We want to ensure that materials are available in formats that accommodate various learning styles, and consider how you would modify that activity quickly online if you had a student who was struggling and you needed to grade the activity down. Again, we've talked a lot about data and privacy and security. So any digital or online materials or websites that you use for teletherapy, you want to make sure that you're adhering to those strict data privacy and security standards, especially if you're dealing with student information. So, if you have to create student accounts to do keyboarding activities or to play games or things like that, just be mindful of those websites that you're using. You want to check for any pop-ups or ads that are displayed around the margins of the web pages, or before or after a game. Sometimes an ad will pop up before you play a game, and so you want to make sure that those are appropriate. So when we are thinking about and selecting teletherapy materials, what do we need to consider? Let me get our pull up here. To ensure that they align, what's the specific thing that we need to think about to ensure that they align with students' individualized education plans and therapy objectives? Great, so that correct answer there is those educational standards. We want to make sure that therapy objectives are going to be considered, IEPs, where they are, curriculum. Great job.
And as Cami said, we're going to get into the fun stuff here. These are, now we're going to talk discipline specific on some of our favorite therapy materials and popular therapy materials. These are a few of my favorites based on personal use in therapy sessions, but also others that are gathered from collaboration with colleagues. I know we talked about that a little bit in our last webinar, and just what a great resource different groups on Facebook or Instagram or things like that are. There's a lot of great content out there. In general, basic searches for puzzles, color sheets, and other activities to fit more of a thematic unit you might be working on are great resources as well. As Cami mentioned, it's always important to vet those, make sure there's not ads or different pop-ups that will come up with those. Boom cards and Teachers Pay Teachers offer a variety of picture scenes and really great speech and language rich activities. You can search by price on these, which I like. You can find free options within both platforms, or pay for items within both if you wish. Ultimate SLP, SLP Toolkit, and also SLP Now are subscription-based platforms. Ultimate SLP offers games and activities that you can tailor to meet your students' needs. SLP Toolkit offers goal banks, present level assessments, progress monitoring, data tracking tools, and really a lot more. SLP Now offers case management tools as well as activities. So those are just three good choices to kind of look at there. Super Duper, I know we all know from in-person and the cards and all of their host of materials, they have digital resources now on their website. Troll in a Bowl is an example of a popular game series. You can access this through Boom Cards or Teacher Pay Teacher accounts. YouTube is fantastic for books or videos. You can really target students' interest here, their favorite characters or books, current events, even for older students there. Just again, be sure you vet the content prior to viewing that with your students. And the graphic here is from Highlights Kids. Highlights Magazine online is fantastic as well. They've got games, they've got jokes, hidden picture activities that can target a variety of goals.
And just to answer a question that we had in the chat, all of the resources that we're talking about today are in your participation worksheet under resources.
Yes, awesome here. Again, I had to do 2 slides because I had so much information to share here. These are just some more of these favorites. As I mentioned, Instagram and Facebook accounts are great. Dabbling Speechy is one of my personal favorites. She has really great themed units, fun, kind of timely activities. She has just for example, she has a social pragmatic activity based on the movie Elf for the holidays, which is so much fun for the kids. Lots of great things there. Peachy Speechy has really great videos for speech sounds. This is great for warm-ups in your sessions or to send to parents for home practice. ABC Yaw and PBS Kids have a lot of interactive activities on their websites as well. Toy Theater has spinners, dice, different manipulative type things you can use in sessions. Epic Books or Books, really great for using literacy in your sessions. World Wildlife Toolkits brings a variety of nature topics to life for students, as well as National Geographic Kids website as well. And then virtual field trips are a really exciting option as well. We get into that on the next slide. There's some really neat opportunities out there to bring, field trips kind of into your session. Students love this. I mentioned worldwildlife.org. They have toolkits, videos, activities, so much more. You can visit a variety of national parks even online. You can make it seasonal by visiting a pumpkin patch or watching reindeer in the snow, things like that. Again, a quick YouTube search will bring up really great options that you can vet for your students from many reputable organizations just like these.
And a lot of the things that Sarah mentioned, are also great sources for OT and PT as well. This is a list of some of my favorite sites, and I do have these listed on that participation worksheet with links for you. And we'll see a couple of these in the upcoming video that we have to show. PT materials as well, the Pink Oatmeal and Cosmic Kids Yoga, lots of great videos online for, if you search brain breaks, there's some really great gross motor activities there as well. So I'm going to talk about mine a little bit more in my video that we're going to show here in just a few minutes.
And just as Cami said, there's a lot of crossover with the materials. You just have to use it with the lens of your discipline. So in my lens in mental health, when I'm trying to have a conversation with students, having something to do like coloring page or mandala or a game helps break the ice and get them going. So these are a few of the materials that I have learned from other school psychs or other counselors from other groups. Some I used when I was just searching, doing a Google search. The read aloud stories are super helpful. There are so many on emotional well-being. And these links are all in the participant worksheet because I know we want to get to those videos. Let me just show you a few things for school psych. So this one is the new AI. She just came out like 2 weeks ago. I'm still kind of figuring out how to use her. Meet Sophia. She's a school psych assistant AI. This is for help in your goal writing, report writing, any recommendations. If you want to format a tool, she's a brand new chat bot tool. Here are the cautions with any AI. Never ever use a student's full name or identifying information when you're putting the request in your chat. Remember that AI is not human. It doesn't have emotional intelligence. You have to use your own judgment, your own ethical, professional standards when you're using any information that any AI chat box will use. All right, let's get to the videos.
So as we're watching these clips, pay attention to what you're seeing, what's happening. Take notes on that participation worksheet, and after the videos, we'll have just a brief discussion on SOAP notes. Do you see everything okay?
Yes.
Perfect. All right, so we're going to pick one of these. Do you see one that you might like to look at? I'm trying to go slow.
I like the hidden picture walking the dogs.
This one?
The one
Going
bottom
for a
left.
walk.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, gotcha. All right. Let me scroll up. All right, so we're going to work on some describing. So I want you to think of something. Look at these pictures.
Okay.
I want you to pick one. See if you can find it in this big picture here. Do you have one that you see?
Yes.
All right, where is it?
I see a bowl and it's on the baby's head. It looks like.
It is on the baby's head. You got it. All right, so I want you to tell me. You can either talk about it as the hat or the bowl. I want you to describe it for me. Tell me a describing word about this bowl or this, since she's wearing it as a hat,
Yeah. I think it's kind of like a purplish color and it fits mostly like fully around the baby's head.
Perfect. So purple tells us the color, and then where we wear it, or she's wearing it on her head. It fits really well. So perfect. All right. Do you see another one?
I see a cane and it's the man he's holding a cane, but it kind of looks like the stroller on the baby's shoulder thing.
You're exactly right. All right, so now we're going to switch. You gave me a great describing word for the bowl, told me about the color and kind of what it looks like, what we use it for. Now I want you to tell me about the cane. What do most people use a cane for?
Usually if they can't walk, like they usually use it for like a stabilizer to help them walk around.
Mm-hmm. You got it. So we're going to talk about things. This is another thing we can use this activity for. So you told me a cane can be like a stabilizer for someone to walk. What's something else that you can think of that someone might use to help them walk or to stabilize them?
Well, if you broke your leg or something, you could use crutches.
That's perfect. So what do you think? So we could say that crutches and canes are the same because they do help us walk or they help us stabilize. Tell me how they're different.
Well, crutches, sometimes you usually have two of them, maybe one, but usually for a cane, you just have one of them, of the cane.
That's right. So that's a big difference, is that
All right, so there's a little clip of your speech therapy session, and I'm going to
Make
play
a pencil roll from your right hand to
some of
your
the OT.
left.
This is
Right,
the
how she's doing that?
YouTube videos that I was
Sequence.
mentioning.
Start.
And then I'm going to move on to this section. Just to give you a little background on this student, they, which I did not know, had never used an actual mouse in school. They only use iPads, which it has a touch screen, right? So in this session, I was requiring them to use a mouse. So you can watch how I quickly had to adjust what I was doing because I also had to do a little bit of education on how to do that. So we're going to watch that part here. You're going to click on that. What shape do you see by the dog?
The triangle.
Yeah, so we're going to click and drag, so you're going to click and hold and then drag your mouse up. Ooh, almost. Try it one more time. I think you got the wrong side of the mouse there.
How do I get it? I don't know. I don't think it's that.
So then their parent had to actually step in and help, so you can see kind of what happens during your therapy sessions.
There you go. Now drop it. There you go.
There, good job. All right, how about can you find one with the bird?
Yeah, right next to it.
Yeah, there's one right next to it. All right, click and drag that one for me. See if you can practice. Oh, close. You got to click right on top of the object. There you go.
You got it. Remember, you
Try.
Click. No. Go. Right here. I need your hand on top. And drag. Where's it go? Right. There you go.
Good job. All right. You know what, Graham? We're gonna go ahead and we're gonna move on. I've got a couple different ones that we can do. So let's try that. It might be a little bit more fun to do it that way. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna give you the stamp. So do you want an arrow, a check mark, an X, a star, a heart, or a question mark?
Star.
A star. Okay, well, that's the one I would pick too. Okay, so now all you have to do when you are looking for the different shapes or the animals is to just click and see how I can make stars. Do you want to practice click? Just push the click button on your mouse and see if you can make some stars.
Yeah.
There you go. Yeah, perfect. Okay, so let me take controls back just for 1 sec. You got it down, don't you? Okay. The first thing that we need to find is 2 logs. Can you look at the picture and find 2 logs?
And I found one.
And when you find one, you can click on it and put a star on it. Oh, try again, because I think you had to take the controls back. There you go. There. Yay. Okay. And then the next thing that we have to find is 3 bears. Do you see 3 bears?
I found one. A baby bear over here. And a big bear over here.
Yeah. Do you think that's a mama and 2 babies?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think so too. Okay. The next thing is 2 tree stumps. Do you know the difference between a tree stump and a log?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
Okay.
there's these, like right there.
Yes. Yep. You're right. And then this is an example of a writing activity. So obviously that's a little bit more difficult to do on teletherapy, but definitely easy to use your annotation. Lots of videos that you can use from YouTube that are free to choose what letter formation you want to work on. This is the interactive digital teaching tool, which has animations. This is from Handwriting Without Tears. My student had this curriculum at their school. So that is why we were using that. So you can go through and I'm annotating on the screen to demonstrate, and then the students doing that in at home and showing their worksheet to me as they work on those. Awesome. Okay, do the next 2 for me. So 1, 2.
Magic C. Up like a helicopter. Bump. Down. Back down. Bump.
All right.
Make you
All right, so quickly in mental
Awesome.
health, this is what my virtual therapy room looks like. And basically, as we're working through the issue, we start with a check-in. I know this is a video, but I'm going to kind of speed through it a little bit. You do a check-in, and then after we do some work, and then Cam, if you want to go ahead and play through, fast forward it till we get into our activity. There we go. So that's an example of the activity. I'll let that go for just a minute or so. Okay, now click spot at the bottom. Select at the bottom where it says select. Oh yeah, right there. Go ahead and click confirm name. That's the name you choose. Okay, so you can pick one of these things that we could go through. So if you feel worried, these are all the different things you can do when you feel worried. So is there one that you like to do when you feel worried? Tammy, we can pause right there. Music. Excellent. We can pause that there. So what we'll do is we go through this exercise on, this is a free trial on Therapist Aid. And then at the end, when we're done doing our session, he gets to pick any one of those games, and those links are part of those therapy materials that we have on the participant worksheet. We go on to the next one. We'll talk about assessment, and that usually happens with a person in the room. We can fast forward that. Okay. Let's go.
Level,
yeah, right there.
Watson, Jewel, Rose, Neville, discuss.
Lovely. Okay, now we're going to do something different. The stamp I showed you how to use.
Yeah.
And you go ahead and open a stamp you want to use. I'm going to ask you to stamp something for me.
And we can pause there.
Okay. Do you have your stamp
Just as
ready?
Tammy showed them using a stamp, he's using a stamp to choose the answer or his response. As if we were in person, he would point to it. He's using his stamp to point to that issue. We can go on to the next slide.
Next slide. Okay.
Okay. On that first.
And then for audio files, you would just, like this is an example of a Woodcock-Johnson audio file list. You would just play that on your computer and he would listen to it and then respond to it from there. And that's how you would do the assessment piece. We can keep moving forward.
All right. So we've talked before about the SOAP notes. And so what we want to do today is to have you write your SOAP note based on the therapy session that we just watched. And we saw that or you have that in your your participation worksheet. Here is just a reminder if you need that about SOAP notes. So go ahead and write a SOAP note on your participation worksheet and then share your note or parts of your note that you might write after you've completed one of those sessions. We'll give you just a couple seconds to do that. And then we have one more pause and reflect, and then we will wrap up. And my chat is not working back, but Kim, those participation or those Google Docs were from Tools to Grow OT. So Sandra, you'll write your note on your participation worksheet, and then you can, see it keeps scrolling back and forth. You can write those on your participation worksheet and then put that in the chat if you want to share. And then our final pause and reflect today is think about what teletherapy platform would fit your practice best and choose 3 activities that we've talked about today or showed you today that you would like to use in your therapy sessions. Thanks, Sarah. Yeah, for some reason, my keyboard is not letting me, it is moving the slides instead of letting me respond to chat. So yes, Kim, you can. Pola or Sarah, you're going to have to do all the chat things for me if you don't mind. Can you put the
we've got it in there a couple times.
Great. I don't know what is going on with my keyboard.
Oh, good.
All right. So those of you, who are staying on, go ahead and add some of those in the chat for us. What your therapy note or some of the things that you plan to try right away that you've learned today. We've talked a lot about different platforms and what those look like. We've talked about different materials and websites, and those are all listed in your participation worksheet in the resources section. We have links there. And then we've talked about some different discipline-specific case samples as well.